Hey, besties. Okay, so I might be a little bit obsessed with the wheels. Someone may have to stop me. And so we're back again. And I spun the wheels and they told me something very interesting. And I really like making sims based on these wheels because the scenarios and the backstories that they think of, it's amazing. It's show stopping. It's never been done before. But like seriously, it's like I love it. I love how unpredictable it can be. So for this sim right now, for the clothing aesthetic, I got steampunk, which was kind of interesting because I don't really have too much knowledge of steampunk clothing aside from like gears and straps and bronze, and yeah, that's kind of all I got. And so I went on Pinterest and I looked, and it kind of just confirmed what I already knew. And I did not CC shop beforehand. I just sort of went with the flow, but I knew I had like one steampunk dress, like a formal dress, so I knew I could use that. And I had some like steampunk earrings, so I definitely gave her that. But what I really like is that I didn't like make it cartoonish or like costumey, which I was really worried about doing since it's such a like a out there type aesthetic. And I think I was able to make her look very normal, very natural. And so the sim is actually Harper, and I'm sort of creating a cinematic universe, if you will, based on my first two sims that I made in like the very first letting a wheel decide my sims video. Like I really got attached to them, and so I was like, let's just make this a series. I really like it, and I've been putting out some like shorts about like the story, so definitely be on the lookout for that. I'm actually doing like little machinimas almost, but I'm also very new to that, so reduce your expectations to zero. But they're kind of cute. I like them, and the backstory is a little crazy, and I sort of talked about that in the first video, and I'll touch on it on like the second sim that we make in this video. But this sim knows both of those two sims, Indira and Eden, from back when they lived in San Shuno. And so I don't really know what her previous career was because the drama wheel said that like she had to quit her job. So I don't really know what her job was. I imagine it was very corporate, like she gives corporate, you know. And so I imagine that there was some form of desk sitting that she had to like endure daily, and I imagine she just got kind of tired of that, and she was given like an opportunity in some way that I have not quite figured out yet to basically be able to uproot her life and move to Chestnut Ridge because she lives in like the center of town, so it's like a bit more city, a little bit less rural because it's in like the town center. And right now she's kind of harboring Indira. I don't really mean harboring because like she's kind of a criminal actually, so maybe I do mean harboring. But basically Indira asked her if she like had a place to stay or like someone she knew that she could like stay with in Chestnut Ridge, because I am kind of imagining that in this particular universe that like the sim worlds are a little bit further apart than I normally think they are. And so I imagine that she was just like really excited to like let Indira stay with her, and she is kind of like staying with her as like temporary guest right now because she kind of didn't have anywhere else to go since she stole all of Eden and her's money and left. So yeah, and so Harper has a cat named Tom, and he's very cute. I really like him a lot, but it was really just going to be Harper and her cat, and she is friends with both of them right now. So like she's harboring Indira, but she's also very friendly with Eden because they are in fact friends. And I think the dynamic is very interesting. I don't think there's anything romantic between them right now, or maybe ever, I'm unsure. I'm sort of playing this save by the wheels. Like obviously I have like some control and I have like a thought here and there about like what I want to see, but sometimes I just roll the wheel and it tells me to do something and I like figure out how to adapt that to The Sims. And I'm actually playing on like long lifespan because I'm sort of like setting everything up, and also I don't know, I'm kind of chilling right now. I had it on normal, but I think I need a little more time to sort of like enjoy these things, I guess. So I set it to long, but I can always like age them up earlier or like change it to normal. Like it's really no biggie to me. But as far as like her clothing aesthetic, I wanted to make sure that she wore a lot of like boots and things with like buckles, and definitely the color brown is very heavy in her wardrobe because I find that most steampunk things have brown elements, and lots of like dressy shirts, almost pirate-esque shirts. I really was trying to go for that, but like slightly dressier since she like comes from the city. And again, I didn't want to make it feel like particularly costumey, so I wanted to make sure that it felt normal, like her everyday wear. And yeah, I really like the sim, and I like this way of making sims because then I get like a little bit more attached to each sim. And also I changed my cast background and I really like it. It's just for like the summer. I thought it was cute, and I got tired of just having like the one color in the background, like the reflective floor. Like that's very fun. Obviously I enjoyed it, like I had it for a long time, but I also kind of missed having something in the back. It's very nice. And obviously it's summer, so this is kind of the perfect one, and I may change it again for like Halloween. There was one that I had my eye on, but essentially I think that she's sort of just there to experience nature and like change up her lifestyle a bit from like the corporate city vibe that she had going. And then this next sim is Annabelle, actually. And so her clothing aesthetic is nostalgiacore, and I finally got to use it because technically I rolled it last time. And then for the drama wheel, she got drowned spouse in pool. Now this came out of like nowhere. I was like gagged. I was like, what do you mean? And so I thought about it, and I found it very intriguing, actually. And so nostalgiacore isn't really vintage. It's kind of technically vintage because it's like clothes of yesteryear, but I don't really know. I think it's like more so a bunch of different eras rather than just like one particular era. Like Eden, I believe Eden got cottagecore, but I made her more like cottagecore vintage, particularly like a more 50s-esque era. And for Annabelle, I just sort of do a bunch of different decades. Like I wanted her everyday wear to kind of give like 90s a little, like a casual 90s. And it took a while for me to find a hair and a hair color because I wanted her to have like a dyed hair color because I think that's very fun, very nostalgiacore. And I really liked the red, like the ginger color. And I played around with blonde a little bit, but that really wasn't the vibe for her. And I was gonna try to make her, like when I had blonde, I was gonna try to make her like a Mean Girls mom type situation. and that wasn't really the vibes either. So I kind of went for more of a like camp counselor in the 90s type vibe with like the curly red hair. I really liked that look. And I don't really get to use like ginger hair as like a dyed hair color too often because I always gravitate towards like the blondes, like the platinum blondes. And I don't know why. I really don't know. I think it's because it's one of the newer colors and I just love having new things. And I mean, it's been a while since we had like the hair color update, but like, you know what I mean? Like the ginger has kind of been here forever, but like the different blondes kind of haven't been too much. And what I appreciate about these wheels is like I don't have to make them look like anything in particular. Like I can kind of just like let my imagination run wild. And sometimes I'll use like Pinterest to find like a face reference, like I did with Indira. But like the other Sims I kind of just made from what I thought I wanted in the moment, and like different presets and stuff. And I really like that. Because then they don't look alike. Like I don't think any of these Sims look like each other, which I love. And most importantly, they have a story, so I actually have like something to do in CAS aside from just like choosing nice clothes. I love that. I really love that. Like I've really gotten very addicted to doing this, and then like fitting the stories together like puzzle pieces kind of. It's so handy. It's very fun too. I would highly recommend if you're getting kind of like bored with CAS, just like spinning a wheel and seeing what you get and trying to style them to that like aesthetic. And then if you really want to get crazy, you can like spin the drama wheel and then you get like a backstory, and then you have to adapt that alongside the aesthetic to that sim, and it really makes a very unique looking and feeling sim. Like I got really attached to Annabelle because I was like, what kind of sim drowns the spouse in the pool? And it really made me think. And so for her background, I imagine there's some kind of like blackmail or something suspicious that made her have to marry this man that we'll eventually get to. And then I believe he may have tripped and, you know, fallen into the pool that suspiciously did not have a ladder and had walls all around it. And then he drowned, and it was very unfortunate. And that's the story, and I'm sticking with that actually. And they actually have a baby, which I thought would be interesting because I actually made that decision based on the house that I wanted her to live in. It's like a more modern-y type house in Chestnut Ridge, and it has like space for like a winery basically in it, and it has like 3 bedrooms, so I imagine she'd have more than just her and her husband that she killed. And so I thought it'd be much more interesting for her to have a baby and have a tie to that man in a way, and like the life that she was living before this, and that she tried to sort of take control into like her own hands and fix her life in a way. And so I also really appreciated the fact that we can like choose cults in CAS, and also especially for ghosts, like how they died, because then I was able to exactly match the wheel spin without having to like play through the scenario. And his ghost kind of haunts the narrative a little bit. Like you see him in some of the screenshots, and I think it's kind of funny because he really does live with them, but he's just sort of hanging around. And the baby's really cute, and she's like a happy sunny baby, and I really like that. And her name's Lorena because I imagined, like I headcanoned that Annabelle, who's a sim right now, like she probably has like deep roots in Chestnut Ridge. Like she comes to a very like country family, and I was like, what is a more really old country name than like Lorena? So I imagine that like she named her daughter that after like her mother, and her mother had that name from like her great grandmother or something like that. Like this is like a long passed down name in her family, and I think she absolutely adores her daughter. And I don't think she's necessarily a bad person either. Obviously, she did a bad thing, but I don't think she's necessarily a bad person. And she's also really, really close with Eden now. Like, I imagine there was been a little bit of time in between Indira like leaving with all the money, and now because Indira was able to get a little bit settled, a tiny bit, in Harper's house, and then Eden and Annabelle got to get close because she babysits Lorena for extra simoleons, because she literally had like 100 simoleons when Indira left. So she really kind of took everything that they had, and she was really desperate. And we planted a little bit, but obviously those plants have to grow, and I believe it's spring and we have seasons installed, so like not all plants are growing in spring, and I don't think she has enough money to build a greenhouse right now, so we kind of do rely on the outside season for our stuff to grow. And it's also just like the basics from the little like seed packets, so it's not really anything great. So yeah, she really needs the money. And so basically I have Annabelle drop off Lorena every now and again, and I'll like cheat in some money just to keep like the storyline going. But they get along really well because again, Lorena's like a super happy baby, and it's only for like a couple hours, so it's really nothing crazy. But as far as Annabelle's outfits, I've done a couple different eras. I did like a 60s outfit, but that was fun, with like the makeup for her everyday wear, and I gave her some like vintage sort of like 50s inspired lingerie. I thought that was pretty and also very fitting for a lady that drowned her husband. And I don't know, I sort of, she gives kind of glamorous a little bit, but like covert glamour, if that makes sense. And for like her party and her, I believe her hot weather, I also went for like a 60s vibe because I just really liked that for her. It felt very like southern glamour, and that's very particular, and I don't know why, but like it gave me that feeling. And I definitely think she loves dressing in colorful clothes, because nostalgiacore is very colorful, because people like color, you know. It's only nowadays we don't really like color in our outfits too much, but like the 60s, the 50s, like the 70s, even the 90s, like every other era is so bright. And so yeah, I really liked that for her, and I think that's why she felt like comforting, because it is nostalgiacore. Not that I've lived through like the 60s or the 70s, but like, you know, it gives kind of like, I know I said camp counselor vibes earlier, but like almost like a children's show host, but like a baby children's show, you know? Like I'm thinking like big comfy couch levels of comfort right now. And I have no idea why, but like that's kind of the vibe she gives me, and I think that's why I liked her so much, because she was able to give those vibes while again doing unthinkable things to get out of her marriage. And yeah, I like the duality of the simp a lot, actually. And I think nostalgiacore is like the most perfect spin I could have gotten for her. And I gave her like all good traits and everything, because again, I don't think she's a bad person. she just, you know, she just did something sometime, one time, literally. And you know, it just happened, you know. He just tripped. Like there was nothing she could do about that. And so yeah, he's part of the households. And I wanted him to have a different name. And like she's a widow, but I definitely think she changed her name back to like her maiden name, which is kind of suspicious. But you know, I don't think she's really too big on hiding it too much. And so Lorena has a hyphenated last name of both of their names together because I don't think she wants to erase him necessarily, but I'm sure that she's happy that he's not here. And she can just like focus on her kid and like living life, you know, like doing other things. And now we finally get to Lorena, and it takes like 2 seconds to make infant, so it's really nothing super exciting right now. But she's really cute. She's really, really cute. And this is like the only child that I've been playing with lately for like this particular save, which is very big for me because I am very much a family gameplay truther. So the fact that I don't have a kid in either Indira or Eden's households that's really amazing. Like I think we all should clap actually. Because it really is something to be proud of. I really wanted to sort of try to play The Sims in a way that I don't normally play it, because I think that's when I have the most fun, is either I'm playing it exactly the way that I always play it, which usually involves some kind of farm gameplay, or I'm playing it in a way that I've never played it before with Sims that are compelling. And that's definitely what this feels like. So I'm like really interested in what's to come and like who's to come, because I just like spin the wheel and I get new Sims. It's great. And I definitely want to like establish a good foundation before I like do a current households with these Sims, because I'm playing in between, but like, you know, I want it to like feel like something before I like invite you guys in. And I decided to give them a dog because I feel like they'd have one. I really do feel like they'd have one. And her name is Penny, and she's very cute. And then these screenshots. So I took Harper's in her home, and I'm gonna do a couple shorts with Harper and Annabelle and try to like progress the storyline a little bit before I do like the current household. But they're like good friends. Like this is not necessarily the worst place she could be. And then Annabelle and her husband, who's there, he is in fact there, just sort of hanging around. And they get along so well. They really do. But let me know what you guys think of The Sims, and would highly recommend giving these wheels a try.